Hi there and welcome back, my friends, to Torment, Tides of Numenera. We've looked into a Merecaster, and as we've collected quite a number of Merecasters in the bloom, I thought we would look at this twisted metal Merecaster as well. The unearthly metal of this device appears to flow as you examine it, twisting itself into impossible angles. Its branching limbs cross and interweave in a lattice that shows no clear pattern. The device seems to push against the palm of your hands as if willing you to use it. And then we'll use it. This Merecaster is made of strange dimensions and impossible angles, spun from an unearthly metal that seems to flow as you examine it. Its branching limbs cross in a lattice that holds no clear pattern. Its surface is hot and somehow restless, as if it wants to move but cannot. Soft nubs press into the soft flesh of your palm, pulsing gently, but when you turn the device over, there's nothing there. The silent voice of the Mere within sings to you, calling you to join it. Access it. Someone has twisted the Merecaster out of alignment. The impossible guesswork to put it in a proper state again. Ah! To put it away. Can you help us? No. So we have a Merecaster that we have to repair. But there's more. Well, not the enigmatic sphere. The circulating Merecaster. In the endless loop of this strange alembic golden fluid froths, fumes, and then precipitates back into the boiling beaker where it began. You cannot quite trace the pathway the substance follows. It almost seems that it is not a liquid at all, but rather some kind of organism, endlessly and agonizingly transmuted within the unbreakable confines of the device. The Merecaster is quiet and unresponsive. It seems there's no way to access it again. Ah! Oh, come on. What about the floral Merecaster? That is done as well. And we wanted to Merecast. There was something else we had here. I mean, we had the ovoid Merecaster. That thing, the soul of the forgotten. This casket is all that remains of a forgotten people who once lived and prospered in the ninth world. Their names are etched into the lid in markings that resemble no known language. While beautifully engraved on the outside, the casket is minimalist, even bare on the inside. A single pastille lies within, containing the essence of those who created it. We'll use that thing. You're holding a small box in your hands. It's like the Matrix. It is shaped like a casket and beautifully ornamented with writing etched into the lid in markings that resemble no language you know of. By contrast, the casket is minimalist, even bare on the inside. A single pastille lies within. But first we want to look at the markings. Skillful hand etched these markings deep into the lid. The glyphs are intricate and strike you as ideogrammatic. You can't decipher them, and yet they seem oddly familiar, as if you've seen them before. If not in this life, then in another. We'll try that. Try to remember. A memory blossoms, but it is hard to comprehend what you're seeing. It is as if it is seen through the eyes of someone not human. Do you speak this language, or do you not? You see your fingers trace a pattern on a set of glyphs very similar to those on the casket's lid. Almost reflexively, you repeat the pattern on the lid. The casket lid opens, revealing that a small blue figure with long spindly limbs has now appeared, lying atop the pastille, opening some of its many eyes to look up at you. The figure clambers up to sit on the edge of the casket. Several eyes are focused on you, blinking at irregular intervals. He starts speaking in a high, wailing tone. You can't understand a word he's saying. Recognizing this fact, he picks up the pastille and reaches it up towards you. Of course, we want to find out. Let's eat the pastille. As you consume the pastille, a burning smell immediately overwhelms all of your senses. Flashes of memories try to force their way into your mind, but they are too alien. to understand. After some time, your mind settles down, leaving blurry memories and hazy details, yet somehow you have gained a full recognizance of the people that this casket memorializes. Understand that the people memorialized by this cask were secluded people now long gone, eradicated by a cataclysmic event. You feel the nature of their existence as if it were a tangible being. As they neared salvation, there was no crime, no theft. People sacrificed themselves before they would let others die. While you do not know them, you will remember them. As the cognizance ends, you find the creature gone, the casket now burning with a cold fire in your hands. In mere moments, it is nothing but ashes drifting away between your fingers. And we've lost the soul of the forgotten. That's really fascinating. I think we'll now rest at Quinn.
With alacrity.
And then take our step to the heart of the bloom. You're back. Can I do anything for you? Yeah, we want to sleep again. Of course. She waves toward an empty tent. I'll bring you some food shortly, and I'll tell you some stories if you like. Enjoy your night. Let's hope nothing much happens now.
All right.
Ready.
All well rested. And we will go to the temple now, of course.
Yes, now.
Every time I come back here, I can only think of one word to describe it. Well, uncanny? I don't know. The bloom seems to be, right? I think it was here. Yeah, it was here. The Shrine of Chilla.
In an instant. On it.
I want to go to the heart of the bloom. Maybe we can find friendship here. Let's talk to Cody if he's feeling well though before that. Hey Cody. Cody wields a broom and wears strange new clothes. They don't suit him, but at least he isn't dead. He looks up. Hey, you came back! So how do you like your new job? He shrugs. It's fine, I guess. I don't have to sleep on the street or steal my food. He leans in closer, but these people are weird and Miss Speck watches me all the time. Folks who come in are even weirder. They don't smell good at all. I thought they worship the bloom, though that's so different from handing my fate over to it. Ah, so you don't like the job? Oh no, it's fine. He glances quickly at the Speck, whose attention seems to be elsewhere for the moment. I mean, it's a job, right? It could be worse. He takes a deep breath. It could be a lot worse. Thank you, really. How are you? You know, with the guild. Cody looks at you, and you see the resignation in his eyes again. I can't say it's gone. Some nights I lie awake for hours, scared of seeing her in my dreams. He shudders, then adds, but there's enough work. But I don't have to think about it most days. Sometimes I even think I'll be alright. And thought Cassie would hate this place. So I guess she'd rather I be here than in some more. Good to see you again. And farewell. Let's talk to the Speck, I guess. Been talking to the Memovira. She sent you to claim something from the heart, hasn't she? Or rather someone. The old woman shakes her head, too frightened to go herself, for she knows what will happen. She does. Scanthor's the cycle continues. Cycles within cycles. What will happen? The bloom will eat her, body and soul. It doesn't matter how long she puts it off. The bloom will have her in the end. The only question is who it will find to take her place. He smiles, but you want to reach the heart, and I can help you.
Making a note.
One gets to the heart in the same way one gets anywhere in the bloom, and more will take you. And the more you want is just over there. Speck waves a hand toward the nearest corner of the shrine. You feel like a blindfold has been suddenly pulled from your eyes and a wave of vertigo nearly knocks you to the floor. You look up again and more has appeared. Here or what? Phil? Eyes sparkling, the Speck reaches out a hand to steady you. Sometimes the bloom hides things from us. Its whispers distract our attention. Our senses perceive what's there, but our minds don't. That more has been here all along? So it has, but only my eyes could see. Even now the others are blissfully unaware. He gestures at the cultists. Some of them catch a glimpse now and then. The whispers make them forget. Where does it lead? Exactly where you want to go, to the heart, to the source of all the whispers. What does it eat? Predators, but only those who are feared above all others. A person, a creature, the Maw doesn't care. Getting them into the Maw, that's the hard part. Let's talk about something else though. Want to know more before we undertake this? I met a man outside. He claims to be the former Memovera. So he was, says the observant Speck, a man who enjoyed holding lives at his mercy, pronouncing judgment from his throne. You hear the chittering, whispering voices of the bloom behind the Speck's words, twisting their way into your mind. When you blink your eyes, the image of an imperious-looking man flashes before you. The same man you met outside, but younger, stronger, the cruel curl to his lip. The whole bloom was his palace, the seed of a kingdom he would build, for such was his ambition, and the bloom loved him for it. Such power it gave him. What sort of power? Every Memovera can open a Maw at a touch, but not all can summon Maws to their side. Fewer still can call them outside the fleshy walls of the bloom as he could. But the bloom turned on him, just as it's turning on the Memovera now. Just as it always does, so many lives cut short by his hand, so much fear bound up with his name, he'd grown fat with the terror and strife that he sowed. In the mind of the bloom, he was a beast made plump for the slaughter. The bloom eats terror and strife? It might, or perhaps it devoured his legacy of terror and strife, rolling him around in his guts until he was forgotten, until he forgot himself. She shrugs, who knows? The whispers don't say. That's terrible somehow. Physical pain was nothing to him. Losing his name and all that he built, being forgotten, that was terrible. Oh, good to know. Speck slowly spins herself in a circle. It's all a cycle. Round and round, feast on one Memovera, raise another in his place. The hunger builds, she stops, and feast again. So now the bloom wants to eat this Memovera. That's why she's hiding in her tower. Too scared to leave her power, says the observant Speck, too proud and stubborn to abandon the bloom. She's no different than the ones who preceded her. The bloom will eat her, and her name will be forgotten. How long has this bloom cycle been going on? Since the time of Chilla, at least, so 4 centuries? 5? So Chilla was eaten as well. She seems momentarily confused. Before that, who knows? There was no Speck to watch and remember. Scan thought certainly the bloom is much, much older than that. Like this, a cycle is just as ancient. If Chilla was the first Memovera, wouldn't she have been part of the bloom's feeding cycle too? Speck turns to you sharply, eyes glittering. What are you saying? Scan thought she's not the first to think she's discovered some great secret. Yeah, I mean, it's only logical. I know it's painful to hear, but she may not be coming back. You needn't spare my feelings. The observant Speck smiles defiantly. I know you think that Sheila is gone, but I choose to believe differently. She wouldn't abandon her Speck. Okay, alright. How long has the cycle lasted? Since Sheila walked the bloom. Maybe longer, but the whispers don't say. About something else? How is Cody doing? Well enough, her bright eyes fixed on the young man. The whispers like him, a faint aroma of murder, suffused with a decade's worth of shame and a dash of innocence. They find him a pleasant melange, a perfume, too precious to devour. A mischievous smile returns. He's also good with the laundry. Questions about you? About me? Again, her hand self-consciously strays to the stump of her missing arm. I'm sorry. Okay, I have questions about the moor. I think I'll take a look at the moor. A thick mass of flesh protrudes from the wall, surrounded by waving tendrils. There appears to be another moor, just as the Speck told you. You notice that the whispers and chitters of the bloom are much clearer here, as if this moor is a channel that leads directly to their source. They could offer the jar of iron wind to the moor. No, that's too interesting. But I mean, it's funny. We could observe the behavior first. You watch as the tendrils wave about, paying close attention to how they respond to those around you. 2 or 3 of the tongues seem interested in Calistique, stretching themselves in her direction. Some of her echoes observe the tongues with interest, while others seem fearful of them. A few tongues drift lazily toward Tibia, stares at them, muscles tense like a man making eye contact with his executioner. They drift away, he visibly relaxes. Tongue passes without pausing, as if the creature wasn't there at all. I will cut it open with a transdimensional scalpel. You're just the chirurgeon. The observant Speck. No, it's the Speck who is suddenly at your side. If you cut the bloom, especially here at this moor, things will go hard for you in the depths. Okay, I'll find another way then. Eyes the scalpel warily as you return it its sheath. Better to toss away that blade than carry it into the depths. You may be tempted to draw it again. I will take it with us, my goodness. I'll offer the head of waits for prey to the moor. You hold the construct's head, and the bloom tongues drift toward it. I am here, it cries out. Take my past, take all that I am. Yeah, it wanted this. One of the tongues reaches forward, probing, touching the head almost delicately, sampling the flavor of the mind inside. All for you, whispers the construct softly, as if it's speaking to a small child or a lover. The tendril wraps itself carefully around the head and lifts it from your hands. You watch as the head is pulled toward the moor. More tongues move to assist the first, cradling the construct's head, stroking it gently, attaching themselves to it, quivering, as they drink some sort of nourishment from its mind. All for you, the construct whispers again and again, its voice growing fainter and hollower each time. All for you. It disappears into the darkness and it is gone. The chittering and hissing of the bloom rise to a sudden climax, and the moor opens. And we'll descend into it in the next episode. Thank you for watching and happy gaming to you. We'll see each other in the next episode when we travel to the heart of the bloom together. A great time until then and happy gaming. This is Immanuel signing out. See you soon, my friends.